Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Different environment today. I got an idea. So I'm going to have this BMW for a little while longer. And there's a lot of videos that I wanted to make on it that I'm not going to get to make. But one of them that I really wanted to make, because it's a very broad topic and it could be very helpful because it's a very opinionated and specific way of teaching or learning something. So today I'm going to discuss my way, not the right way, my way of how to drive a manual transmission. So here I have my vehicle I've addressed on the channel many times. It's a 1999 BMW 328i. It's a 5-speed manual. I think it's just about the perfect car to learn a manual on. I personally think that older vehicles with less aids and assists for the manual transmission are personally the best to learn on, because then you obviously know how to drive a vehicle without those. A lot of modern vehicles will have things that we can address later. A lot of modern vehicles have lots of assists that make it not true to authentically driving a manual transmission car. Really being connected with the car, more connected with the road, what your vehicle is doing. You have to pay more attention. There's a lot to it. It's a very fun experience. If you want to learn, I highly suggest that you stick around for this video so that you can learn, because it's a great skill to know. It's very important. It's a dying art. A manual transmission now is just about a security feature because not many people know how to drive it at all. And it's just fun. I haven't had a manual that I could drive in a while before I got this car back on the road, and I missed it. You're so much more connected to the vehicle. It's just a lot of fun. It brought back the fun of driving and not necessarily making it just commuting. But anyway, so we can get right into what I was going to discuss for the day. So I'll go super basic with this. If you know the bases, you kind of understand the concept of what you're doing, maybe you've watched other videos on this, you'll know what I'm talking about right off the bat. But bear with me, because I'm going to try an A and a B camera down by my feet so I can talk to you and so you can see what my feet are doing. Before you even get in the vehicle, I have a few suggestions. So you'll see in the video shortly, hopefully I can get these cameras to line up well. I have a pair of shoes that have thin soles on them. I wouldn't learn in work boots. You can. I wouldn't. I wouldn't wear flip-flops or something that's going to get stuck on the pedals or not follow your feet properly. So I suggest like some sort of like skate shoes, have a real thin sole so you can feel the ground underneath you. Just avoid something with a thick, heavy-duty sole. Sneakers are good. Or if you don't have any options, maybe you only have flip-flops and work boots. Drive barefoot. Why not? So shoes, pick your footwear properly, and find a good, big, open area. So I'm at the local, basically abandoned shopping mall. If you're local, you know. And I'm back here in the corner. I'm surrounded by lots of burnout marks. We're not going to participate in that today in a public setting. But I found a nice little spot. There's an access road that goes all the way around this place. So we can learn in these parking spots. We can learn a lot just sitting right here, actually. But then we can start. There's even a little bit of a slope, which is going to help us. Going downhill to learn is going to be easier. And then when you start getting more confident, going uphill is going to be a good skill to know. So this is a good basis, but I highly suggest find a friend who has a manual. I guarantee if you drive a manual, you don't drive a manual because you don't want to. You drive a manual because you like driving, because you like cars. You are a car guy, maybe. Or you just ended up with one. They will be happy to show you this information. It is much easier to learn. I've said this time and time again, and it is so much easier to learn step by step. This video will seem very overwhelming if you're sitting in your living room or watching this late at night or something. Putting it in front of you and doing it is a totally different ball game, as opposed to watching a video, being overwhelmed with information, not being able to execute it. learn step by step. The best way to do this, if you don't have a friend, but maybe you just bought a manual and you say, you know what, I'm going to throw myself in the fire, I'm going to learn. Watch this video while you're sitting in the car and follow along with what I'm doing step by step. It will make so much more sense. It'll be much less overwhelming. I think I've rambled enough. Let's go over the specifics of what a manual transmission has. What are the discrepancies, the differences between a regular car and a car with a manual transmission? So I can't really get this far enough away from my face for this to be a good angle. But if you're watching this video, I'm assuming it's because you know how to drive a car. This is not a how to drive video. This is a how to drive a manual transmission specifically. So in front of you, going to be normal gauge cluster, except if your vehicle doesn't usually come with a tachometer, because I know some of them don't, your vehicle will most definitely have a tachometer, unless there are oddities out there that do not have a tachometer in a manual, maybe, but that's very good to have. So other than that, regular steering wheel, nothing's going to change about that. This is a big difference, obviously. So your transmission selector, your gear selector, and I have a camera down here in your way, but there's going to be 3 pedals. On the right is going to be your throttle, your gas pedal, just like normal. In the center is going to be the brake pedal, and on the left is going to be your clutch. Your clutch is specific to a manual transmission. Your brake and your gas are not. This pedal over here being the clutch. So, nothing changes about the brakes. Nothing changes about the gas. Also, super basic, your right foot is going to be in control of the throttle and the brake. Your left foot is going to be the clutch and the clutch only. Your clutch is basically a foot activated neutral. So in your automatic transmission car, you have park, you have reverse, you have neutral, you have drive. Imagine putting your automatic transmission in neutral, selecting that and letting go of all the pedals. That is what this does. When your foot is down, you are essentially in neutral. If you are driving along, get it in your head now that if you get scared and you're moving and something is happening, put your left foot on the clutch and engage the clutch pedal. Then you are coasting, you are driving a normal vehicle, there's nothing unusual about what you're doing right now, gain your composure, and then you can slow yourself down with the brake pedal. We're still just messing around with stuff here. Hold your brake pedal, just to make sure you're not going to go anywhere if you're on a hill at all. Just push your clutch in and out a few times. See if it's really heavy, if it's really light. There is going to be a little bit of a dead spot right on the very top. This is not going to do anything. This is kind of just, every single clutch in every single vehicle is different. Feel for the dead spot, then you'll feel a little bit of tension. Right about here is where mine starts. This whole spot is all kind of dead. So right about when you put tension on it, that's going to be an essential location in your clutch. Then push it all the way to the floor. This is what you should be doing every single time that you are in gear, that you are shifting, or you are coming to a stop with your transmission in gear. Your clutch should be all the way in. Okay, also I forgot to mention, get yourself in a comfortable position where you can reach the bottom of the clutch. The whole pedal travel all the way up to the floor is where you want to be able to hit the clutch. Don't be able to barely reach it, just kind of put your foot halfway on it or really on your tiptoes. Get in a comfortable position. If you got to put some phone books behind you because your seat doesn't move, do that. Okay, so the first few things that I'm going to show you involve this. This is essential, and your pedals. If your engine is running, just take your car out of gear. To know it's out of gear, you can do this check back and forth. I'm now out of gear, which is right in the center. It's right in this location here, this horizontal line. I'm now in third gear, just any gear, doesn't matter. It moves this much. Now I'm out of gear, it has more movement, okay? If you're driving a new vehicle or something that's nicely restored or something, it's gonna have probably this amount of play in neutral and probably this amount of play in gear. You've worked on putting your clutch in, putting your clutch out, whatnot. So now up here is where people think is the difficult part. You know, you got all these numbers. How do I know what one to go and what way? What R5? Why is it over here? And why is it not like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? What's going on? Okay. This is the easiest part of learning how to drive a manual. Your gear selector, your shifter, whatever you want to call it, is going to be just second nature after a few times of driving. When you're going to start, you're going to want to have your engine off still, car's not running, and now you've messed around with your clutch and whatnot. Put your clutch all the way down to the floor. My left foot is on the ground now, and just go through the gears. So we're going to follow this pattern here. This is a typical what's called an H pattern shifter. You can see like an uppercase H in here, and then, you know, +1, but ignore that. The pattern you're going to be going in is following an H. So clutch is in. We're going to go over and up to first. Second gear now is going to be down, straight towards you. Third is going to be up, over, and up again. Fourth is going to be straight down. And then fifth is going to be over here and up. Reverse. A lot of vehicles are different. Some vehicles have a tab you got to pull up here. My dad has a Mustang that you have to push down. In this, there's a little bit of a lock so that when you're in traffic going to put your vehicle in first gear, that you don't accidentally go all the way over and go into reverse. With a lot of force, it goes over and up. Now I'm in reverse. If you're in a big open area like this and you don't know if you're in reverse or first, then just try to move a little bit. We're getting ahead of ourselves with saying that. How do I know what gear? How do I know what one of these I want to pick here? So, great question. If you're going to get on the highway, that doesn't mean put your vehicle in fifth the second you leave your house. This is all going to be what speed you are currently doing, not what speed you want to do. So first is going to be for slow speed, second is going to be for slightly faster, third is faster than second, fourth is faster than third, and fifth is going to be your top gear. There is no option to shift farther than that to go any faster. So you want to start in your lowest gear. That's going to be perfect for learning, for just cruising, for engaging the clutch in and out. That is going to be the easiest to get you going. This is once you've gotten going, you're getting up to speed, you're still getting up to speed, still getting up to speed. Now you don't necessarily want to go through every single gear. You don't want to be too low on, perfect segue, on your tachometer. You're going to want to, when you're learning, stay way over here. There's no shame and just going slow. You can still get all the way up to highway speed and never leave this zone of the tachometer. So this is all going to be, you know, just things you're going to have to figure out with time. We've gone over the pedals down here, what one to use with what foot. This is your gear selector, what to use this for. As you're going down the road, you're going to start up here, go this way, go to third, you know, okay. So you're going to follow those gears in sequence. And when it comes time to slow down, just put the car in neutral and just touch the brakes like normal. Like I was saying, if you get scared, just put the clutch in, touch the brakes. Just like a normal car. With the exception of that clutch pedal, everything that's going on in here is going to be completely normal. This doesn't matter. As soon as you put that clutch in, this is gone. This no longer matters anymore. You are just coasting. You're just in neutral. Okay, so we're ready. We're going to start the car now. All right, so what should you do for that? First of all, you're going to put your foot on the brake. Second, you're going to engage your clutch all the way down to the floor. Start a car, just like you normally would. Okay, foot still on the clutch, foot still on the brake. Car is in neutral. I can let off the clutch now if I want. If you're not sure if you're in gear or not, you've checked in neutral with the little shake here, but you're not quite sure, just let your foot out real slow. Okay? I'm not moving, I'm not moving, I'm not moving, I'm not moving. All right. So we want to just sit here for a little while now, right? Car is in neutral, my foot is off the clutch, but I have to keep holding the brake. That's where your emergency brake comes into play. You may have a foot activated emergency brake. Very commonly, you're going to have a hand emergency brake. So give this guy a good yank, and now slowly let off the brake. We're not rolling. Take my word for it, we're not rolling, because this parking brake is engaged. I'm now not touching the pedals, I'm not touching the shifter. I don't have to hold anything. The car is running, everything is okay now. So to release this guy when you need to, pull up on it a little farther, and then push that button in on the end. It doesn't just push down. You have to push this button in. That is your release, and it will just fall itself back down. Okay, with your engine running, it is going to be important to not mess with this gear shifter, because if you put the car in gear now, you will move or you will stall. You will probably not be expecting it, and you don't want to do that, okay? Take my word for it, you don't want to do it. So if you are messing around with putting your gear selector in any gear, you are going to want to have the clutch in. Now you can put it in gear. See, we're not moving. I'm in first, I'm in second, I'm in third, fourth, fifth, reverse. We didn't move that whole time because I did not take my left foot off of the clutch. We're back in neutral. Slowly disengage. Okay, we're not moving. We're good. So now comes to the part you've all been waiting for. How do I operate this third pedal? To really figure this out, you can feel the tension of the pedal. That doesn't really mean much. It's just good to get yourself associated with how much force it takes to move, how much force it kind of pushes your foot back with, how much you need to hold it. What you're going to be doing, imagine my car's in gear, I'm getting ready to go, my clutch is on the floor. You're going to do this. Now, when you're doing this, for learning purposes, you do not need to touch the throttle, okay? You can just drive the car totally on this pedal right here. We're going to go in first gear, over and up into number one. Everything I'm going to do from now on is going to be in first gear. I'm not going to touch this, but I want you to see if we're moving or not. Also, don't mind the tape on the window. That window regulator broke, so yes, I have painter's tape on my old car. You'll see I'm still not moving. I've been in first gear this entire time because my left foot did not come off of the clutch. So keep that in mind. Don't get complacent with that. You want to keep your left foot down this whole time. So still in first gear, left foot is on the ground, on the clutch. I'm not touching anything else here, okay? So first gear, parking brake is off. I'm in a flat spot currently, so I'm going to not touch the brake or the throttle, and I'm just going to slowly let off the pedal, okay? I'm slowly letting off the clutch. Now, if you want to, watch your tachometer, and you're either going to start moving, or you're going to watch that needle start to fall lower and lower. You can kind of hear it. This car's quiet. Okay, so we started moving before the RPMs really fell. Okay? I didn't touch the throttle that whole time. I did have my foot next to it. This is all you're going to do, is just keep practicing your starts. Really slow. I'm not touching the gas. I'm not touching the gas. I'm not touching the gas. I'm keeping my foot right in the same spot, and the clutch is engaging just slightly more mechanically, but my foot is not coming up any farther. So we're going up a little bit of a hill now. And as you can see, I'm touching nothing. I'm just along for the ride at this point. This is all you need to do. You have learned how to drive a manual at this point right here. So now I want to stop. I'm scared, I need to stop. See? Okay, and we just coasted to a stop. And now I'm going to touch the brakes. That's all you need to do. That pedal on the left is going to be your best friend with doing all this. Once you do that a couple times and you've seen that you can just roll around without the clutch, without touching any of the pedals, you're just going to want to keep practicing over and over and over again. Now I'm starting on a hill. This is going to be a little bit more difficult. Really, really slow. Really slow. Once you start moving, keep your foot in right about the same spot as per my situation, and then you can start moving your foot out slightly, just barely move it out a little tiny bit. We're going to want to do that a lot. You're going to want to just come to a stop, completely back to a stop again. Just do this over and over and over and over and over and over again. As you learn a bit of where that engagement point, that biting point of the clutch is in the pedal, you'll kind of feel your knee being bent to the same spot, or if you're bending your moving your ankle versus moving your whole leg, you'll have a feel of where that spot is. And then as you do that, you're going to want to get a little faster, a little faster, a little faster. I'm still not touching the throttle this whole time that I'm doing this. As soon as you get going again, come back to a stop. And just do this over and over and over and over and over again. And eventually you'll learn kind of a technique of what you like to do. I kind of have little steps because I know where my engagement point on the clutch is on this car because I've put thousands of miles on this car. I kind of start all the way at the bottom. I'll show you with my left hand. That makes a little more sense. I'll let my foot out to where about the engagement point of the clutch is. I'll keep it there for a second and then I'll slowly let off from there. What you're going to do eventually is going to be something that I'm going to belligerently do. The first few times you're going to do this, you're going to say, okay, you know what? I'm going slow with disengaging this clutch. I'm going slow. I know I'm going slow. And what you're going to do is this. I stalled. Okay? No big deal. The car stops when you do that. Put the clutch back in. And start the car back up. That's okay. Nothing happened. You were going 2 miles an hour anyway. So then you're going to learn after that first point and you're going to go super slow, like I was showing you from the beginning. I'm showing you this kind of out of order because I'm forgetting that I know what I'm doing and I need to put myself more in a mentality of I don't know what I'm doing. Pause the video at this point and practice those starts. Just in first gear, your lowest gear, whatever it may be, but practice in first gear going forward. Just go in circles, go in circles, go in circles, go in circles, go in circles. Stop, foot off the clutch. Stop, off the clutch. Stop, foot off the clutch. If you stall, no big deal. Practice that until you're blue in the face, okay? That's the most essential part of this, is learning how to start from a stop. Okay, I found an even better spot. It's a little bit flatter over here now. So when you're done learning the starting with no throttle, okay? Then you're gonna wanna go into using the throttle. You want just small inputs, okay? Just that little tiny bit. So we're going to go back into first gear here, like you know. Put your foot on the throttle. Give yourself a tiny little rev and leave your foot right there, okay? I'm just above 1,000 RPMs, and I'm gonna let my foot out the same way I did before. Okay? Just a little bit of an input of the throttle. That'll get you going a little bit faster. Do this over and over and over again until you're blue in the face. Rev your car up a little bit more. Okay, start at 1,000 RPMs, then move up to 1,200 or wherever you can keep your foot. Don't go to the moon. Just a little tiny bit of an increase, okay? And try to maintain it as you're moving. As you get moving, try to maintain that RPM because your car is going to want to naturally continue falling unless you give it a little bit more throttle. So we're gonna do that a few times. Start at 1,000 and then try to keep it there. So you're gonna want to put a little bit more pressure down on your right foot and take your left foot up a little bit faster, okay? Just keep doing that. You can rev it up a little bit more and you can see how that goes. If you do a burnout and you're in a spot that you're not supposed to be doing a burnout, I'm not responsible, okay? See? Good little quick movements. This is going to help you as you learn how to get out into traffic. There's a gap that you're trying to get into. So just practice this, okay? There's different techniques of how people like doing this. There's some people that like revving their car up. They like pulsing on the throttle. I don't do that. I think it's kind of silly, honestly. Unless you get a car that sounds cool and you're trying to impress a bunch of people around you, there's really no sense in doing that, I don't think. It's, I like putting consistent pressure on the throttle and letting the clutch out. Okay? That's how I drive. It's a little bit less elaborate. Well, my GoPro's overheating because I have my vents on. My car doesn't currently have cooling fans on my radiator, so I have my heat on. It's 80 degrees and I have my heat blowing out the vents to vacate it from the engine compartment. So, little bonus tip of the day, if your car's overheating, blast your heat. Now you've learned your starts pretty well, okay? The next thing that we're gonna do, get going in first gear. Just get going, just putt around, just find a little spot you can make a loop, or you have a long way that you can get moving for. And now you're just in first gear. I'm not touching the clutch. Not touching the clutch. I'm in first gear. Now I'm gonna wanna shift, okay? This is where you start to get into the fun where you really start putting it together. Now what you're going to do, prepare yourself when you're doing this. You're going to want to hit the clutch while you're moving. Your clutch is just going to make you roll, okay? There's nothing wrong with anything that you're about to do with that. I can be in first gear, put the clutch in, let the clutch back out slowly, and I'm still in first gear. I'm still moving. Nothing has changed. Everything's all right. Okay, remember where second gear is. Maybe your first gear is in a different spot and second gear is not that kind of a movement. Like I'm saying, my car is straight back. I'm going to put my clutch in. I'm just going to show you that you can go for quite a while like this. I'm going to pull my gear shifter straight back. I'm in second gear and I'm going to let the clutch out real slow. I'm not touching the throttle. I'm not touching the brake. My foot is out. I'm now in second gear, okay? This is going to be harder for your vehicle to move without touching the throttle. You can do it. I'm doing it right now. The car is managing. Not great, but it's okay. This is where you're going to want to keep your RPMs up slightly. But you can go pretty slow in second gear. You can go back to just about a stop in second gear, and that's perfectly okay. I'm going less than 10. That's the lowest my speedometer goes, is 10 miles an hour. And I'm in second gear. I'm just coasting. My car's not stalling. Everything's okay. So now we can putt around in second gear. This is when you want to link it all together, okay? So keep yourself moving, shift into second. I personally would stop, come all the way back to a stop. Put your car back up in first, get yourself started again. Okay, we're moving. I'm gonna make a turn, so I'm not gonna shift now. But once I get back going straight, then you can practice picking up your speed with this. Okay? You can be pretty jerky with the clutch too. All you're gonna do is just bounce around a little bit. But I'm in second gear. I'm gonna turn myself back around, get myself ready here. I'm ready to stop, so I put my clutch in, I touch my brake. I'm still in second gear this whole time. That's perfectly okay. Go back up to first, get myself started. Go into second gear, let your clutch out, back in second gear, and then just do this over and over again. This is where you start putting everything together. This is going to be from a stop with your clutch pedal in, which I am right now. Stop, clutch pedal in, move up and over to first, get going. This is where we're practicing our starts again, now with throttle, clutch back in. Now we're shifting, okay? Once you get the hang of this, you really are good. You still need to practice because you need a lot more confidence. Traffic is difficult to navigate a lot of times with a manual transmission, but you're pretty much set. At this point, I would say you really can drive a manual transmission. You understand how to go, you understand how to stop. If you're not stalling when you're doing this and you're shifting, you're good. You're figuring it out at this point. I don't know how long this is in the video, but you have it pretty much figured out at this point, okay? You're doing good. Bravo. Bravo. You can do it. Now, we're gonna figure out how to drive in traffic a little bit more. Okay, you can see in this background, there's nothing going on behind me. There is nothing over here. So, if you're in a spot where you are allowed to do something like this, you're on a private road, you're not in a tiny little parking lot or something, this is where you can start to move with a little bit of speed. You can get going. You can really start shifting. You can go through more than second gear. You can get into third and maybe fourth gear. Okay, clutch out. I'm gonna go right into second gear. I'm gonna let my clutch out again. You can go into third gear if you want. I'm in third gear. Again, I'm doing 12 miles an hour. I'm gonna make a couple laps around this place here because my car is overheating again. First, speeding up, going into second. This is where you can start really kind of messing around with what the car feels like, where you can speed up more and stay in a gear so you run your tachometer closer to that red line that I was saying you don't need to mess with. You feel free to run it up a little bit higher at this point. You know, I wouldn't necessarily go crazy, you know. There's no sense in, you don't need to be a racing right now, but play with it, have fun, you know, enjoy yourself. This is what I was saying, this is all about, is driving a manual, is having fun, getting connected with the car, enjoying driving. I wouldn't necessarily say go out on a public road just about yet, but you can have a little fun playing around with this in whatever field or parking lot you're in. This is kind of where you can get into level 2 after you've practiced everything in this video a lot. I did this a lot. I learned this actually before I could legally drive. My dad drove me out to a controlled environment, a private area that we had permission to be at, and we just drove around this big parking lot. All right, my battery died. I think we got to a good enough point of showing you how to navigate a parking lot or something like that. At this point, what I would do is probably go out and find a hill. Still in a controlled environment, maybe a parking lot with an angle or something like that. I'm going to put myself in the middle of this hill. So you are not at the bottom about to go into the hill, you are on a hill, okay? Come to a stop, vehicle's in neutral, foot is just on the brake. So you'll see now, I am on said hill. If I let my foot off the brake, I start rolling backwards. You're going to find this a lot when you're driving on the roads, and this is going to work against you because your car is going to want to roll backwards when you want to go forward, and you only have 2 feet, right? So you really need to hold the brake, touch the gas, and release the clutch all at the same time. How do you do that? You only have 2 feet and there's 3 pedals. Good question. So it's really, again, just practicing. You're going to want to pretend you're making an aggressive start. Not aggressive, but you imagine one of the starts that you were doing before when you start getting excited and you start going a little faster. You let the clutch out faster, you put more throttle in. You're going to want to do one of those. That's how this is going to work best. If you roll backwards a little bit, that's okay. There's no one behind you. If there is someone behind you, that's where this becomes essential. So we're going to, again, be in our lowest gear. We're going to just want to gradually move our foot, moderate speed with good amount of throttle input, okay? It's going to look something like that. And now depending on the hill that you're on, if you're on a steep hill, obviously, you are going to go rocketing backwards. So this is where we can build up a little bit of speed, and I can show you that. So imagine you're on some big hill, and you're going backwards like this. You're going to want to slip that clutch slow and give a good amount of throttle input as well. I don't quite know where to end this, but I feel like I've gotten to a pretty good spot. I'm about to run out of camera battery and my car's about overheated lots of times now with my no fans. Key takeaways that I want you to have from this video. Most importantly, find a nice big open spot or a road or something with space. Wear some good shoes that you can actually feel the ground. The pedals, I mean. Or just drive barefoot. Have a manual transmission. That's a good one to have. Just take your time. You know, if you stall 100 times and you give up, maybe that 101st time, you're not going to stall 100 times. Maybe that 101st time is where you're going to get it and it's just going to click right there, but you're going to get frustrated, okay? It's not necessarily an easy thing to do, especially when you're first starting out. If you're really truly trying to learn, you will get it very, very quickly. And maybe if this video gets some good interaction, I can do some real like level 2 kind of stuff, like actually starting on a hill or driving in traffic, like traffic driving techniques maybe. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, tell your friends, drop a comment. Maybe if you want a level 2, maybe we could do that. Put that down in the comments if you want to see a level 2. I would really appreciate the feedback. I will see you guys real soon, and stay tuned. Thank you for each and every single one of you that's stuck around through all these videos. I appreciate you guys very much. Thank you.